Hi comic book fans, and welcome to suddenlycomics.com. Today I've got a video in my occasional series, The Comic Detective. Okay, and the word detective is very appropriate today because we are taking a look at this comic. Yes, it is a Detective Comics number 4, okay, and it has been graded by CGC. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Why do I say oh dear, oh dear, oh dear? Because this is another monumental error by CGC. Okay, let's take a look at the label on here. It says Detective Comics 4, so far so good. L.Miller Son, 1954. Okay, I'm okay, and so far so good. Then it says Australia. They think this is an Australian version of a comic. It is not. In fact, it actually says on the indica here, English edition by L.Miller Son, London. This was published by L.Miller Son. We were an English publishing company based in London, I think during the 40s and 50s and into the 60s. And they did reproduce a number of American comics. Now, you might say, I've never seen that cover before. No, you haven't. In fact, it does correctly say on here, cover contains Detective Comics 209. Well, it's sort of correct. So let's take a look at Detective Comics 209, which I happen to have. Here is my copy of Detective Comics 209, also from 1954. That is not the same cover. No, it is not. However, if we look inside Detective Comics 209, there is a story, a backup story to the Batman story, and it is called Roy Raymond TV Detective Double Doom. Right, that also is not the cover. However, if we go and have a look in this story, let's have a look. We find a panel here. There we go. That panel there, look at it, in this backup story, is the cover of Detective Comics 4 from L.Miller Son in London, not Australia, CGC. Look at the back of this. All it says on it is Detective Comics 4, L.Miller Son, 1954, Australia. Wrong. Right, I've been onto the CGC census, and there are 2 graded copies of this. This is the highest graded. There's also somewhere a 3.0 graded. And it says on the census the same thing as it says here, Australia. No, it is not an Australian one. It is a British one. And it even says London on the cover. CGC, how much did you charge? I bought this in auction, okay? So, and I paid less. I can tell you now, I paid less than it costs to get a slab done. So my question to you guys is, what the hell should I do? Should I contact CGC and tell them they've got it wrong? Should I ask them if they're prepared to re-slab my copy of this for 0 charge and get the information correct? What this reprints is the backup stories from Detective Comics 209. It doesn't reprint the Batman story. So I think they probably had rights to the non-Batman elements of the of Detective Comics. There we go. It's a lovely thing to have. It's the highest graded copy. There are only 2 graded copies. I've never seen one of these before, and I suspect you could look for a long time before you find another one. So it's a really nice thing to have. It is just very annoying that CGC can't do some basic research or even reading to get the country right on the slab. I mean, I recently showed some CBCS slabs where I graded some Allen Class comics, and the quality of the information they put on the label was excellent. Okay, look at this, it's minimal. So CBCS actually put a list of all the stories that were included in the Allen Class comic. No such luck here, they can't even get the country right. Anyway guys, keep sending your comics to CGC. I'm sure if you send them a Hulk 181, they'll get the label correct. But don't send them an L.Miller Son comic from the 1950s, because they'll probably tell you it's from Australia. That's your lot for today. See you again soon.